All right, welcome everyone. Welcome to the Unstoppable Branding Experience workshop, guys. We are officially beginning. This is our official 4-week start, and last week we dug really deeply into just setting the foundation of what is the value of creating a brand, and we create that brand by going internal, right? By looking deeply inside, pulling out what our story is and start crafting our story through video and through a written word so that we can start looking from the outside in at our story and what the value is that we have to offer to our customer base. See, we do this a little bit differently, guys, when we're starting to define what our brand is. When we begin any type of a business, you're kind of out there and you're just sharing what your product is. Well, when we want to start taking our branding and our connection to our customer to that next level, we start identifying what is it about us that can make us so unique in our customers' eyes that they identify us not only visibly, right, through an image, a graphic that will literally be splattered everywhere, your graphic, your imaging. But see, branding is not just image. Branding is about your story, what makes you ultimately unique to your customer so that they can see the connection they have with you and what you have to offer is why they buy from you, right? See, we do things slightly different when we're creating our personal brand. We create our personal brand in a way that allows people to want to work with us, whether it's buy our opportunity or buy our business, buy our products or buy our services. So we have to really take a look and start from the inside. And so last week, everyone had some homework to do, and it was really getting internal. And I'm going to connect with you guys tonight on this, and I want you to start sharing what went on for you. We're going to go through some more foundation and building on what we started last week so that by the end of tonight, you are leaving here really identifying what is it that makes me completely unique. What is my core message? And how am I going to start sharing it? So tonight, we're going to start really defining what is my story, right? What is the core message that's going to come from my story? And then we're going to start building upon that. And by the end of this 4-week workshop, you are going to be completely clear with what is my brand, right? What do I call myself, right? Let's say that. Like we are the Unstoppable family. And under the Unstoppable family's umbrella, there's a multiple different things that go under there. But our personal brand has a core message. And that core message comes from identifying what our core customers are. And when we can see what our story is and how it connects properly to our customer base, then guys, now we have a foundation to build on that everything we do is around not only our brand, right, who we are, how now we break apart our story to start creating connection and content, right? And more directed videos and messaging and marketing videos that we'll get to in week 3. But right now, this week, we're focusing on your foundation. And that is, what is it that makes me completely unique, right? And we went through the session week 1's homework. And you had to really start looking at yourself and saying, what is it about me that makes me completely unique? What are some values that I have that I want to be revealed through my brand? Values. Seems so odd to think that there's values, but there are values that you will express through your brand. For instance, the Unstoppable family, we express the value of family, the value of travel, being able to raise my child to be the primary influence in my child's life. See, these are the values that we have. They're also part of our core message, and they're part of the customer that I communicate with. It all begins to connect, guys, when you understand the core, which is what is it about you that makes you unique so that you can begin sharing this more deeply with your customer and with the world. All right. So what you went through is you literally went through, right, start making a list of your uniqueness, and then you begin to kind of cross them out, and you're looking at this list, and you want to look at this list and say, what is it that would sell, right? Because we are in a business, we're offering a business. What is it about me that will connect with someone? For instance, I love using, let's see, Bernie and Tiffany, right? Bernie and Tiffany will be able to, we're going to really work with them tonight because they finished their story and posted it. And I wish you guys could see my face, darn it. And Bernie and Tiffany have a really kind of a unique story, and they're going to be able to share it. But they work with dogs, and it's really interesting because that makes them completely unique. They work with dogs. Now, Bernie also has a family history, and I want to make sure I'm saying it right. Bernie, if I say it wrong, is it Mennonite family? Was that how you pronounce it?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes,
so
it is.
awesome. I just want to make sure I'm pronouncing it correctly. And they're going to come out in a moment and they're going to share a bit so you guys can start revealing and in listening so we can hear this come out for Bernie and Tiffany. Their brand is going to come out because your question came out was, how can I combine my dog practice and the love I have for dogs to my business? Well, it connects very tightly, and I'm going to share with you guys how that does because that's their value, and their value has a story. And so I'm going to share with you, I'm going to have them come out in a moment because it's going to allow you guys to start saying, wow, okay, so there's some values that I have that can actually all intertwine with me creating my story and crafting my brand. All right. So what I want to do with you guys is I'm gonna kind of go through a little bit more stuff, and I'm gonna have you guys come out tonight. This is like one of our most powerful classes because this is the time when you guys are like, you're starting to really get it out. The next two classes, you're going to really start sharing and getting this content out. And when we work together in these classes, this is like, you're going to hear how I'll work together one-on-one with you. And so next week, those of you that aren't completely ready and you haven't done your story completely and you haven't written it and or videoed it, because you'll do both, we'll work with you next week and we'll start nailing this stuff down. Because I look at your brand like you're baking a cake and then we're icing it. Okay, so we have to start with that first ingredient, right? And I look at it to your functional values, right? The things that you are good at and the experiences you've had along with your story. That's your cake. That's your ingredients that comes in and piles into why you are so unique. For instance, I always share this so you can connect the Unstoppable Families, my cake, right? My insides of our brand came from us losing everything that we had, having a mission to never put a child in daycare, and wanting to travel the world. Those three pieces of what our experience and our expertise, right, which is running an online business, and part of our story became our insides of our whole brand. So the Unstoppable Family came out because that just the words started to connect with who we were, what our values are. And did it come out right away? Not at all. That's why we start here. We start getting you so connected to, okay, what is it about me that I've gone through, I've experienced, and part of my story, and we spoke about this last week, it was our decision-making point, that point of decision that made you said, I'm doing this. See, you can back shadow a bit, right? And go into your past, but does your past matter when we're really defining our story? Typically, it's that defining moment when you said, I'm doing something different. Because that's the pivotal point where that's also the connection piece you're going to have with your customer, why they should work with you, and why you chose to do what you're doing is also part of why they will. Okay, so we take this cake, right? This baking ingredients of our values, of the expertises we have, experiences along with our story, and then we put the icing on the top, which then, of course, becomes more of our emotional values, right? Our personality, our style, all this trust factor, likabilities. See, the icing now becomes the branded image, the way you communicate, whether it's through video or through pictures or images or written word. And it's through the core message that you deliver every time. So what I want to do tonight, guys, is I want to get into this with those of you that are ready, because remember, the method that I have with the way this workshop will be ultra valuable to all of you is because when someone else is speaking and they've done maybe something a little different than you have and you haven't quite gotten there yet, you will pop, right? Last week, Sarah and Charmaine or Paula and Charmaine were like, oh, I'm getting it. Okay, I've got a reference point now. And when you hear that from someone else, you go, oh, wait, maybe me too. So what I want to do is I want to have, I'm going to start with, whoever wants to start, right? But I have some people that I was going through your stories and your, let's get you over here, guys. Let me get you over here. Looks fine. What else I got? So you guys can take a look what we got going on over here. All right, cool. I'm gonna get you guys in front of some of this stuff. Okay. Let's get me over here. There we go. And I want to show you guys here. Okay, so several of you guys, we're ready. I know Bernie, you and Tiff placed your story, watched your video. We're going to have you now writing it. I'm going to show you guys how to also, when you're writing your stories, how to write it with purpose, right? To make spaces, make it visibly appealing. That's really ultra important. We'll go there. And then I know Robert did his corporate story, and I know Stephen Quick did your video because of some of you guys just popped yours up literally just right before class. Really tough for me to get to that. I'd love you guys to utilize the days, not the hours, because it's more difficult for me to get into the hours than it is for me to get in through the days and give you really great feedback throughout the week. Because what I like to do is when we have homework, you guys post up, let's say your video, your story, and you get it up throughout the week. I then can give you really solid feedback so you can come back and edit it. Okay, so it puts us a little bit behind sometimes. That's okay. We're just starting off. So now moving forward, you guys will be able to say, okay, all right, in 2 days, this is where I'm at. Let's post this back up again. And then I can give you some really solid feedback throughout the week. So when we come back here, a lot of your questions are answered. We can really build on it. Okay, so who would like to jump on out here first and kind of go through some aha moments, maybe some breakthroughs and some challenges or some big wins that you have from crafting your story, and then we're gonna really dig into some of it so we can really get you guys ready to rock. So let's see. I'd like, Bernie and Tiff, I want you guys to come out because this is really cool. And I want everyone to hear this, okay? Because, there we go. All right, I'm going to use you guys. Because the way Bernie and Tiffany, they shot their video. All right. And we're going to outline some stuff. And I want you guys to see Bernie and Tiffany's brand almost unfold. And they have some really defined questions that popped up for them that can help you guys really see how everything's connected. So Bernie and Tiffany, let's in a snapshot, not a long 10-minute, but let's go through some highlights of your story and let's kind of work through some areas. And I will write out some highlights. I'm going to type in some highlights, and this is how every one of you guys will go through your story. Once you video it and once you write it, we go back through what I'm going to show you guys what's called creating circles of your story, which I know some of you guys that were in Orlando, we talked about this, how to do this. And it's so simple, but it works, okay? And I'll show you guys exactly what I'm talking about. Okay, Bernie and Tiff, you guys there?
Yes.
Awesome. Yes. Okay. Share what were some challenges that came from, or challenges or some wins that came up for you, and there were some big questions. And I want you guys to share a bit of a background about your story, because there's some highlights that are going to come from it that's going to allow us to see immediately your value, immediately your core, so we can build on it. Are you guys ready?
Yes.
Okay.
So that story was more Bernie. I guess I haven't posted mine yet, but they will come together because we both did meet in the whole dog training course.
Mm-hmm.
And we sort of grew from there. but the Mennonite's Bernie more than me, so he always has worked really hard all of his life, where I haven't really, and I've always enjoyed my life, and
Okay.
but always never had money to enjoy it. I would just spend what I had to enjoy it,
Okay.
and now I'm making money to be able to enjoy it.
Okay, so let's so everyone else here can hear this and benefit. Bernie and Tiffany are dog trainers, right? Bernie's video that he shot was specifically about Bernie's background. But Bernie, let me ask you: Bernie he has a Mennonite family that he grew up with, which is hard. Bernie explained it's hard work. It's work long hours, and they don't understand the value of working smarter and not harder necessarily. Would that make sense?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay.
And it's
Okay.
very a small bubble of it's a really tight knit community, and a lot of people don't get outside of that. And
Okay, so now we're getting some value here that comes from your family, your back of your family, your background of your family. Now you then became very aware, right, of what was happening as your family as you were growing up, and then you decided to become a dog trainer, right?
yes,
Okay, so you became a dog trainer, but this is where the value comes from and how your training background of your dog actually connects perfectly with business. So, because Bernie asked the question that you asked, so everyone can hear this, I want you to bring it forward because if these guys didn't watch your video, I want you to explain it here so that we can work together. Okay, instead of me bringing it out of you, share with me what exactly your story was about, and then let's talk about the questions that you had so we can pull them together.
about like how I take dog training and mix it with because we have a lot of clients that follow us and follow our dog training tips, and then there are a lot of them that don't really care about online business per se. But
Mm-hmm.
then we also have people that are opting in because of online business and have don't care about dog training. So our question, and because Tiff and I both have two different stories, and we're trying to build one brand, we're wondering how do we make everybody happy, the dog people and the people that want to kind of start a business.
Okay, let's not talk about the hows. Let's talk about really what you are, right? Let's talk about the values first, because the hows is quite simple. The hows are basics of creating either just a dog trainer information link or an image, right? Or intertwining the connection between dog training. That's the how. We got to define what is it
What
about
we
you
have
and
to
Tiff.
do for people, what our value is for people.
What are your values? What is it about the two of you that now let's say, and I'm just going to throw something out there just for just idea's sake, like the dog whispers, right? That's just something that people can identify with. I'm just saying it because it helps create an image of. It doesn't have to be about dogs, right? It can be about anything you communicate about, but it has the values of you and what you found with a dog. See, what did you find as a dog trainer that really relates to human interaction as well? This is the part that was a kicker for me when I listened to your video. I was like,
That if the people are messed up, their dogs are messed up, to put it not so nicely.
right. Okay. So talk more about this. Let's talk about how that can really relate to personal development, what you're finding, and how this can all connect together that creates a value of you. What it makes you guys so unique that can relate to dog people and to your business people.
What did you write about there? Can
Um,
you tell me that?
we work with a lot of people with messed up dogs, and it's basically opening our eyes to it's only a matter of time before the person we can convince them and open their eyes to that they need to be accountable and start doing stuff, changing their life before the dog will change.
And we're making their lives better through that too, because we're teaching them to get out of their comfort zone and out of their box, with their dog as well. So it's bettering their life because they're now, encouraging them to be outside, getting their dog out, changing locations, meeting new friends. Maybe, and often we taught people to be in a more positive circle because, we have had clients, which sounds crazy, but they are now divorced because their husbands were jerks and that was affecting them and their dogs. And that's the extreme part of it. But we're bringing positivity to their lives. So
Right.
it kind of
Okay. So now, are you
yeah.
guys seeing how your story, everything about you, really has to do with it? May be dogs, but is it also have to do with humans? All right. It's the same.
Yeah, very much so. We see
Okay.
people's children and we're like if they
Everything is
treated
the
their children
same.
like they treat our dogs, they'd be better.
Right? It's either a dog or a kid, right? So let's talk about Bernie and Tiffany because that, guys, is just content, right? You let's get away from worrying about how you're going to put the content together because you have so much content that can blend together that can be, really about dogs. You could do, there's so much that you can put together that doesn't have to just be about the dogs, or it can be about everything. It can really be metaphorically speaking, where your dog people are like, oh wow, that's kind of talking about me too, right? It can be both,
Right.
right? But you have to define what is it about Bernie and Tiffany that makes you are different. I mean, I could never identify with someone, right? Or I can immediately see you being so different than someone else having the exact same message. Just the fact that you guys are, it's it's a dog twist. The
Right.
mess.
So what's unique about us, like, or what, like even the people who follow us, they follow us because they've met us through their dogs, but they're staying with us for more than just that. They've gotten what they've had from their dogs, but they stick around for our personalities and our outlook on things.
Okay, so what is it? Let's look at that then. Who are the customers that are following you guys, right? So sometimes we have to look at what is our customer, right? Who is the person that is really looking to follow us, so that we can really identify, what is it that makes us so special? Why are they following us? Because when we start to create your brand, guys, right now, literally, you just kind of blow everything out. You just list everything, and you're like, okay, what is a unique value that we have? Okay, so your unique value is really working smarter and connecting through a human problem through a dog, right? Both human problems are dog problems. Are you looking to stay within the whole dog animal realm, or do you guys want to be something completely different? Like, what is it about you that you want to become for your audience?
Um, I mean, we like the whole dog concept, but like you say, it's bigger than that, right? And I think it's relatable on more levels, but I like using it sort of through that way. And I want people to see us as you don't have to be, contained at home because of your dog or because of your kid or because of anything, and that you can make whatever it is a part of your life and go out and get stuff and, to drop those excuses and do what you want. So if you have a kid, then make it the kid part of your life and go out and do stuff. If you have a dog, make the dog a part of your lifestyle and go and do stuff. And is
Yeah,
that what
I mean,
you're
are you
asking?
guys? I mean, are
Or
you
is it
seeing
more than
how
that?
really everything that you're saying is that you're now going to be able to target that specific group, right? Who are the specific people that you're connecting with? And it can be people with kids too, right? So your message is going to relate directly to everyone, right? That your specific target market, right? So they can maybe have a dog. They don't have to have a dog because it's going to be the message is going to be connected. But what you are going to probably attract people that are more dog lovers, right? And you're going to open their mind to really seeing more about life and about business because of the message that you offer through your marketing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Are you seeing how the two of those can connect?
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
Okay. So share with me a little bit more about the solutions that you can solve for your customers.
I think we've been doing a bunch of traveling recently with our dogs, and a lot of people just don't realize what they can do with their dog. They don't realize where they can take them. And we just recently did a 2 week trip, and we basically shot video and blogged about where you can take your dog and where you can't. And
So leading by example and showing people what they can do and opening their eyes to the possibilities that they have by like proof is in the pudding kind of rather than them
Yeah,
being unsure and asking questions by proving it.
right. Okay, so now, right, and this is good. So now you've got some ideas for content and you're now creating a solution for them, right? So you lead people up to the solution. But what I want you guys to really focus on right now, other than just content, is really what is Bernie and Tiffany to these people, right? So I want you guys to sit on that because what's going to happen is this whole image of who you are. I mean, it could be, you know, it could be your names, right? It's a personal brand. Do we want to be a personal brand or do we want to be more of an image brand, right? Which is like Unstoppable Family. Because now, once you guys start to really see, it looks like now you have really what your customer base is, and we can outline that. I want you guys in week 2, you're going to go down and write out what are my exact customers. And then we're going to start just thinking about what is that umbrella that you're going to have that's you that can connect not only to the dog customers, right? Or the dog audience, people that understand the whole values of being with their dog so they can relate it to their families and everything relates. But why is Bernie and Tiffany the ones that they should choose?
Because we're fun and everybody wants to hang out with us all the time. They're always curious in what we're doing.
Right.
They want to be living their lives vicariously through us.
Okay. Well, if fun's a value, right? Fun and living by what's that?
We're honest. We don't sugarcoat stuff. So I'm pretty blunt on telling them what I think about them without offending them.
Okay, so what we want to do is we want to take what our values are, start really bringing them together because now when you start looking at what is this core message, your core message is going to be surrounded around fun, living by example, and honesty, right? And you might add a couple more in there, and we're going to get to what your exact customers are because once you start understanding this is what your core message is, then it's living life with Bernie and Tiffany, or it's something that you are. So once we start really defining what your actual brand is, you're going to have an opening message of who Bernie and Tiffany are. You're going to have a closer, and people are going to I can't wait to hear the videos that Bernie and Tiffany have because they use metaphors of dog training and life, and they bring personal development in, and it's related to a dog, but I really feel like it's related to me. Do you see how that can connect you guys?
Yeah, that last 2 minutes has helped. More than that, no, I'm getting clear on this, and that's great.
Because we have to just start putting it in front of us and looking at it and seeing who is the customer that we've got, how can we connect directly to them, but what is it about us that makes us totally unique? And so you can blend together your dog background and your business background because now you've got these people. Let's say you've got this one guy who's at work and he leaves his dog, let's say at a doggy daycare, it's in a cage all day, or however you communicate it. And you're like, hey man, you want to take more vacations and be with your family and your dog and be free, or, create that visual of Bernie running with the dog in the water, right? And say, and when it comes into then a marketing message, say, I get to do this every day because I've changed the way that I now live my life, and now I have a solution that allows me to work virtually and to have a lot more free time. So you go from here's who I am all the way to here's my solution for you.
Okay, cool.
Yes, that's good. That's good.
I think I get stuck on saving what we've been working on and feel like, oh, we've been this, so why can we change?
Well, I get that. That's why we have to be open to completely dropping all that we've ever done. And I mean, literally something completely crazy is going to come out for you guys that is going to be your total image, who you guys are. And right when you get that piece, your messages are all going to change. Everything's going to be very congruent. And then, we'll put the pieces together that are around, in the middle that is like, oh, that's the image. That's the color. That's the name. That piece is going to come. But right now, I want you to really focus on who are the people I'm communicating with? How does my story relate to them? So, Bernie, your story was solid, although we need it to be a lot tighter. Okay. And so how we do that is we take our story and we go back through and we watch it. And then we circle the important parts that pop up to us. So like, ooh, that's something that I as a customer or I as an audience would want to hear. Okay, so our story goes across like a solid line. And those of you guys that were in Orlando, I usually have my grafter, but I'm not able to pull the grafter up. So it's a solid line, your story. And then you create these circles. That's an important one. So you circle that spot. And which I think that the Metadite family values of working hard and working all day, not smarter, is a big one. It doesn't have to be highlighted, and elaborated on, but it's a big one because it gives a piece of who you are. And then there might be some details that really aren't completely important when it comes to, working with you, right? But there's some values that are going to come through. And then the idea of, you know what? And then I realized I became a dog trainer. I started to realize that people were really goofed up, right? And it's the people. And I started to connect the work that I'm doing with dogs to human relation and to myself. And then what I realized is that I was screwed up too, because I was wasting all my time with other people and not their dog, my own personal dog. And then I started to realize, wow, life is really about, the living a life with your family or your dog, right? So you can relate to everyone when you're communicating your story. Do you see how that's you're walking through that funnel?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. So I want you guys to stay there because I want to switch to somebody else, because this is the part that's going to start building on. If we go too deep, you're going to lose it. We need to stay right where you're at, right with the core values where you're at, and start building on that, and start now shooting the video, and now you want to write that video. You want to write your story out. Okay. It's got to be.
Should I shoot a quick one of myself then too, and then we bring them together at some point, or is that?
I would write them together. I would either shoot a video together and write it together. Right. It doesn't have to be my story, his story, her story. It's our story.
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay, cool. All right.
You're pretty good at that, eh?
Yeah, that was good, you guys. That was awesome. I hope that helped. Do you guys feel good about that so far?
Yes.
Better?
Yeah.
Better.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Rock and roll. Okay, awesome. Good. This is always like the first part where like you get it, but you kind of don't, but you kind of got it. And you're like, I do get it. All right, let's see. I know Robert, you had hey buddy, come on out here. I'm going to unmute you. Robert said I'm ready. All right, Robert J., you ready, buddy?
Yeah, I'm right here.
Sweetness. Okay. All right, tell me about what went on for you. Okay.
Okay. Well, I got a really long story, but if I was to pick out some real core points, I would be like an out-of-the-box thinker. I would be the adventurous guy. I just wrote a bunch of notes down here. I would be the man of integrity, a guy that wants to live.
Sorry. What is your vulnerability piece? Okay, because there's always got to be a vulnerability piece in our story. And what was a defining moment? So these are definitely great values and virtues of you, characteristics of you.
Yeah.
What's a vulnerability piece?
I think.
Or why? What was your defining moment? If it's just that can help you. So it's not just what you went through in life. It can also be, what was my defining moment? Because remember, this has to be the selling pieces. This is what people want to buy from you, not just connect with you. We can do stories about our connection as well, but we want to know if we're doing this to really offer who we are, our brand, and the piece that goes, ooh, yeah, I'm like that guy.
Yeah, I think coming from like some of the issues that I had dealt with, I fear loss. I fear loss of self, loss of control, and I think the defining moment is when I realized, oh my God, I'm created and I'm unique and I have options. I think that's the core message right there.
Okay. So all right, let's work with this, because this is really actually a really solid foundation. Now, I didn't get to watch this specific video, Robert. I don't know if it's one that I had already watched before, because I didn't notice it had gotten up on that page until we were communicating. And so was this your specific story about the corporate?
Yeah. It was talking about like how I wanted to provide for my wife, and I was doing all these different kind of corporate jobs, and they would change the game, and I would be lost. I'd be like they hang the carrot out there too far, and then all of a sudden it's like it's like they change the game, and then you get depressed and you get angry and bitter, and then from there, and then I started realizing we went through a really bad time in 2011, which I think I told you about. Losing my mom, and then my mother-in-law, and then my wife getting sick, and then my job, because of the management and them changing, making poor corporate decisions, it affects everybody else in the company, and that's a huge fear of loss. And then that was when I became real with myself through counseling and everything else. And then I started realizing, oh my God, I got options. And then that's when everything opened up. I got a wellness company. I got Empower Network. Everything is falling into place. It's just amazing.
Yeah. Okay. So this is good. So you want to put this in, obviously, in your story. Those pieces are what someone needs to hear, right?
Yeah.
Now, and I knew that you had this piece, so I'm kind of fast forwarding for you because you're there. You get this piece. Now, what we have to look at is who is your specific customer that you are going to talk to. And what I hear, it's that corporate, like burnout that has the same problems, right?
Yeah. Corporate guy stuck in his little cubicle, burnt out.
Right. Okay.
A family that is stressed out because they're up to their eyeballs in debt.
Right. Right.
I'm also targeting anybody that has a low self-image.
Okay.
And they want to live from their true self and not be stuck in their ego.
Okay, so this is great. So now you're starting to see you have your story, and of course we have to get it written. Okay, we have to get it written before we leave tonight. I'm going to show you guys how to write it in a way that is visibly appealing that people will keep reading. Okay, before we end tonight, because you need to see the outline. But more importantly, Robert, your story, you're there. Okay, you have your core. You see your customer. Your message will be this every time. I mean, everything that you talk about, and if you think about it, Robert,
yeah,
everything you've been doing is always this exact core message, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay, now we have to look at who is Robert to them. You're not a corporate burnout guy, right? No one wants to work with a corporate burnout guy. They can identify with you, but you've got to be something more unique than just the same guy talking to a corporate burnout guy.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Okay. So I want you to go there. What is it that makes you completely unique? Is it an experience? Is it a specialty? Is it an image? Now you don't have to answer because this is like way deep right now. You don't have to answer. This is where I need you to go because you're much farther ahead because you've been working on this. Now what we got to do is I want to get deeper into what is it about Robert? Is there words? If you could list what are some defining words even?
But I have a bit of a list now. Can
Okay.
I tell you?
Yeah, of course. We've got, absolutely. I'll go as long as you guys need me to.
Integrity.
Okay.
Overcomer.
Okay.
Living on purpose. And like I always say, power to profit because I can profit from my problems.
Okay. That's actually really interesting. I never heard that one. That's unique. So we have to look at something that's really, really unique that is not overused either, right? People are like, okay, yeah, whatever. I've heard that before, right? Same guy. Whoops, sorry, guys.
I'm extremely outdoorsy, and I learn a lot of life lessons from the outdoors.
Okay.
Like, for example, like I'm a huge fly fishing nut.
Okay.
And I look at everybody as their like fish. Like I'm a fisherman of men and women.
Okay.
I have to like I tie flies. So I have to say the right thing. I have to have the right ingredients on the fly to capture the attention of people. So everything that we're doing here is what I'm kind of doing in my fly tying anyways, and I got to take it now to the next step and attract people.
Okay. Okay. So this is interesting. Now, I'm going to ask you this because I don't know if you want to stick with just as a unique, this unique customer, but could you create a metaphor around this fly fisherman concept? Because what
Oh, hell
happens,
yeah.
right?
Hell yeah.
Okay, because when we're branding ourselves, right, it's that core, it's that little extra spice that we've got that it could either be, a metaphor of some sort. The languaging could connect to fly fishing, but really connect to who you are and your brand. It just gives you that little edge, right? That I mean, when I walk in a room, everyone's like, "Oh, it's Rhonda Swan from the Unstoppable family." It's not just Rhonda Swan, powerhouse woman, outdoorsy, or wild integrity. That's who we are, unstoppable. If you can
Yeah,
start,
yeah.
right, defining, for instance, I had one of my past students. They are parrot heads. They love Jimmy Buffett, and they realize,
Oh, okay.
right? They realized that the Jimmy Buffett people under the Jimmy Buffett umbrella, the Parrot Head umbrella, was a ton of different people, but they all had one core value, which was parrot heads. And their brand turned into Parrot Head Lifestyle, and they focus on just those people. And their business is crushing, and they're in a travel company because those people love to travel. They go to Jimmy Buffett, they're baby boomers, right? You get who these people are, and then all of a sudden you are them. So why not define yourself as someone that would really connect you the most? So would you say, are you niching yourself tight if you're focusing on the fly fisherman?
I never thought of that way. I was thinking about tying in that part into my life. I just didn't know really how to. I was thinking like different thoughts. Like I really like the idea. Like my whole life is about living well and being fulfilled. But there's a lot of people out there that want the same thing. That was my first initial thought, and then my other thought, because I thought about fishing, was like being a fisher of men. Fisher of men and women. But I don't know what kind of title I want. It has to roll off the tongue really well, and
Well, this is another great thing. When we're creating personal brands, guys, there's a reason why they're personal, right? Your name is powerful. Okay. Now, because Brian and I become a family, right? We changed our brand. We used our last name. Your personal name, you should all own that real estate, by the way. If you don't own your own personal real estate, which is your name, you should. Your
I got that
personal
covered.
brand, right? This we are now getting a little bit deeper, Robert, which is going closer to more of a tagline, the Fisher of Men, right?
Yeah,
Which
yeah.
then becomes everything. So it can be, right, if we're looking at just who you now are, what you're called, it can be, you know, robertjansen.com, right? The Fisher of Men.
Actually, you know what's really funny is
Yeah.
I've been known, like I'm an artist as well,
Hmm.
and I've been known as Montana. So I've already got robertmontanajansen.com or montanajansen.com,
Right? I don't know why.
just to let you know.
Well, okay. So Montana Jansen, it's kind of long, right? We have to remember people it has to be ringy. Some people always say don't use your name. Some people it's like work with Bob instead of Bob Tribikalakala, right? Because his name's too long.
Yeah,
Robert Montana Jansen could be long. You could just become, Montana. You're known as something. And that's just the imaging, the outside pieces, the last pieces. But the Fisher of Men could start to connect your core message.
mhm,
Are you seeing how that can really connect you? And it
yeah,
takes some time to dig in because, of course, this Fisher of Men, you are all of these things. That's who you are,
yeah,
right? So now it
yep.
can help you then organize not only your content, but also now put your story in because all your messages or many of them can relate to fly fishing as well, right? Or then you can use a lot of your metaphors. This will help you really when you start really getting your brand together, your content becomes that connected piece that makes you just a little different, makes your message a little different.
Mhm, mhm.
See?
That's awesome.
All right, cool. All right, good. So I want you to stay here, right? I want you to start thinking about a little bit deeper about really what your personal brand could be. And then you now have to go in and write your story. You go back through and do the video again, look at it, watch it, circle the high points that are important, and now add in really what makes you connect and how we start obviously with our story. It's who we are, where we've been, what was that vulnerability piece and now where we're going, right? And you connect the whole story together. It doesn't have to talk specifically about health or wellness or an opportunity. It is, this is who I am. This is the choices that I've made. And now I have a solution. Your solution can be directed anywhere.
Yeah, I saw a earlier taping of this, and you had mentioned like what are your deepest fear, and I think my deepest fear, which I think is going to really help me show me where I'm vulnerable, is the fact that my deepest fear is not having options, like being stuck. That is a fear of mine, big time, just not having options. And I don't know how I can tie that in, but
well, now that becomes another connection piece to, and it's a piece of content, right? That is a fear that your customer also has as well, because they're just like you.
Yeah.
Right. So when we start to organize now our content, once we start seeing what our story is, seeing who we are to these people, then we start organizing our content through what our story, the most important pieces of our story are. And then so that's where these circles come into place, because now you're like, ooh, that's content now. So it could be one of your main pieces is, not the fear of not having any other options, right? And so I started searching, and this is part of your story. So then you extrapolate that part, if that's a word, pull that piece out of your story, and that becomes a post or a video or a piece of content that now is a connecting piece to that one person.
Well, that's awesome. That's good.
Right? And that's when we start to get really clever, and we start either, then it's a post, then it goes, to a YouTube video, and we keyword it to those specific people. Then you start going to different forums and groups that have the same type of, core communication, like it's about that guy, right? And you start posting that kind of value, that content there, which brings more traffic.
Yeah. And I think at the end of the day, what I want is the ability to have options. It's not really about, the cars and the stars and all the $1 billion that you can actually put in your vault. Don't get me wrong, money's good. I like to have a lot of it, and a lot of it will give me options.
Absolutely.
That's what I want, and that's what intrigue me to you guys, because you guys got options. You guys are traveling around the world for 5 years straight. That's options, like out of your yin yang.
Right. And this is these are key words you want to look at, searcher or creator of option creator of options, right? This is who you become, because what happens, guys, is once now we start really getting down this story, then we start crafting that image and that little miniature message, which is our tagline, that people immediately know what you're going to offer them.
Oh my God! I just got an awesome idea.
What's that?
Unstoppable options.
There you go. It's all relatable, right? This is, and all this stuff changes. It pops up. It can change. Once you start to get really tight here, now we can build on it. Next week, when we start building content, you're going to really got it. It's all going to come. Okay. I want you to stay there. Go back, Robert. I want you to write it out. Start brainstorming in these options, right? And then I want you to get the story written.
Okay.
Cool. Awesome. Good work. Wow, rock solid. All right. Anyone else want to jump on out here? You guys are all listening. For those of you guys that are hearing for this first time, maybe something for your story is popping up for you that maybe you didn't write it or video it yet, but this is your time to get me live. Put your hand. Oh, there you go. Come on up, Pauline. Go ahead and just unmute yourself. You should be unmuted. There you go. Hi, lovely.
Yeah. Can you hear me okay?
I can.
Perfect. Hi, everybody. It was really lovely to hear the last two stories. Well done, guys. It's very brave to do that.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
Okay, basically, my story starts at the end of a 9-month period, I had 3 miscarriages.
Mm-hmm.
So I lost 3 pregnancies after 9 months. And a pivotal point for me was at the end of 9 months, I should have been giving birth to the first pregnancy that I lost, but instead I was recovering from the 3rd pregnancy, which was my hardest loss.
Mm.
And for me, I am more than my miscarriages. And I'm struggling with that because I want to work with women, but I'm becoming defined by my miscarriages and by my pregnancy losses. But there's more to me than that. And I'm struggling to pull that out of my story so that I can attract
Aha.
the women that I want to work with.
Okay, so let's talk about this. So you're being stuck in that story, that story.
Yes.
Okay. It's really great that you say that because that is a normal progression of development. For instance, right? 5 years ago, we lost everything. We've had so many different things happening in our life, right? That
Yeah.
you sometimes fall on that major point. Now, let me ask you this. Is this a pivotal point for many women that you're going to connect with? Does this happen frequently enough that you have to keep it in though?
Yes. What I'm realizing is the women that I work with at the moment, when you suffer a pregnancy loss, it can be, for the women I work with, it's very traumatic.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the trauma of the event
Okay.
that causes them to reassess their lives.
Right.
But that event can be a miscarriage. It could be recovery from cancer. It could be redundancy. It could be a marriage breakup. It could be any event. And what I'm realizing when I wrote down my story, Rhonda, is that I break through barriers. I have never from the time I was a small girl, if somebody put a barrier in front of me, I don't even climb over it or around it. I break right through it and I find a way. And I've done that all my life. And when it came to my 3 miscarriages, on my last miscarriage, the bottom fell out of my world. The usual, but the bottom fell out of my world, very depressed, very down.
Mm-hmm.
But what I chose to do was refuse to look at the barrier, and I broke through it. And that's my selling point, is that no matter what the trauma is in a woman's life, I believe that we all as women have an inner strength that can break through any barrier that society or professionals put in front of us.
Yeah, keep going, Pauline, because and I'm absorbing all of this from you. And I would love to see, you didn't put your story into video, did you, yet?
I did. I put it into video.
Did you post it
but
up?
I did. I did. I put it into, no, I actually put it on the member page. I didn't put it on the Facebook page.
Okay. Okay, I can go back inside and look at that. I would love for you to put it on the main page. If you're uncomfortable putting it on there yet, you don't have to, but I want you to get comfortable enough to share and be vulnerable. And this is because I'm hearing this for the first time and I'm taking this in. And this is...
I know, I understand.
Right?
I understand, yeah, I understand that. And I think my struggle is that I can talk about my miscarriages. I do my work around my miscarriage, and I can do that with just enough emotion. You know, I don't cry all the time. I'm very much healed from all of that. But I suppose the reason I came to you and to the workshop is that I'm just more than that.
Yeah.
And when I wrote my story down, even I was amazed by my own story, because you've become disconnected. When you go through something like the miscarriages, you connect so strongly with that you become disconnected to other parts of your personality.
Yep.
And in writing my story, I reconnected to the other parts. And I was really amazed at, every job, I've never not had it. If I've gone for an interview for a job, I've never not got the job, ever in my life since I was 14. I've always had at least one, if not 2 pay rises within 12 months. I've always had a promotion within 12 months. I'm a very typical high achiever, eldest in the large family. You know, all of these things I had become disconnected from. And when I look at the whole picture, I just find it really hard to pull a story that will relate to so many women who get bogged down in daily life, be it family life, work life, traumatic event, and to be able to take them from the ground and take them up to a 30,000-foot view of life, and to get them to look at that life differently and to embrace what they're about, and find out what their purpose is, and not to fear living their purpose.
Okay, this is good.
And that's what I'm about.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's
And outside of that, my personality is very much, I love bringing people together. I love feeding people. I'm always cooking and baking, and I love to nurture and feed and give people a good time and make them feel good about themselves. And really, I'm just so passionate about the inner strength of people, and to get them to reconnect with that and realize that anything is possible.
Pauline, do you realize that when you started, you have now just completely answered so many of the questions or the breakthroughs that you were coming up saying you were stopping at? You just blew through all of that.
Why can't I see that?
You know what I want to do? Are you open to allowing someone else that's listening from the outside? I love when we bring the group together, because what I just heard from Pauline, and this is really great when we get additional feedback, because we're all very connected to creating purpose and seeing how what you have and what you're sharing, how it can connect to your audience, your customer, right? We call them customer, whatever. That's just an easy term.
Yeah.
Right? Because you're connecting to them. When you started, you were like, okay, I'm more than my miscarriages. I'm stuck in here. But all of a sudden, I just started to feel you build your story. And what happens is, as the others that have been sharing tonight, it's because you're getting power from who you are. And when we dig inside, we look at, what am I so good at that no one else is? And you are very good at breaking through something and taking inner strength. These are some key things when you say this 30,000-foot view of life, because now you're connecting with your customer, right? Pauline, you are going to be able to do something very different than probably anyone in your field has done, and that is connect through the right story, but also to the right trigger points that they've had. So you're going to be able to create certain videos that are through this whole story you just told. Those circles that you're gonna take on that story, you're gonna create a circle around this, and this. That's gonna become something in a way that you're gonna be able to connect with your customer through a video, through a post, through written, and it's gonna be very different, because when you're women that are looking to connect and work with you are gonna read this and go, oh my gosh, she's exactly who I need, because she's been there, but she's overcome it, and this is who she is. Are you open if I bring it up to the group and have them kind of see from the outside?
Absolutely.
Yeah, okay.
Absolutely, yeah,
Okay.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Okay, cool. Hey, all right, Jeff, your hand up went immediately up. And I just think it's so awesome that Jeff's hand up, because it's a guy. But Jeff, right?
Thanks for noticing. No, Pauline, I tell you what, you said, you came in and you said, I'm kind of stuck in this, with this barrier being, I've had 3 miscarriages. We see it just as a miscarriage story. And then you went on for the next 10 or 15 minutes to tell us everything else that had absolutely nothing, at least directly, to do with miscarriages. You told us that, you can work with women who've gone through trauma. You can work with women who, have tough relationships, are stuck in life, have, had, maybe, family issues when they were young. Maybe they've got, kids that are unruly. They don't know what to do with them. I mean, all of the, just the daily struggles of life, you can help people because of your skill set to take them. And I think, and Rhonda, I agree, taking this to the 30,000-foot level is a perfect analogy. You can help people go to the 30,000-foot level. What happens up there? I mean, it's often I've found that when looking at a tough problem, the easiest way to solve the problem is to almost, and this is going to sound a little strange, but almost an out-of-body type of thing. Take it to 30,000 feet. Look at it like it's not your problem.
Yeah.
Look at it like I'm taking a look at my issue for somebody else. And you know, so often in life, and you know, I've done this in business for 40 years. I mean, you walk into a situation, and the people who are having the issue, whatever it is, can't see the forest for the trees. They think it's all about miscarriages.
Right.
All right, but you take a look at it from the outside, and yeah, that's a defining issue with you. But breaking through barriers is far bigger than miscarriages. You know, taking somebody who's had, you know, huge tragedy and having them see, you know, that they're stronger than the tragedy. They can get through this. I mean, that is just huge. And, you know, I completely agree with Rhonda. I mean, you can look at this, you can target women with, you know, alcohol issues, relationship issues, kids issues, husband issues, work issues. I mean, it could go on and on and on and on and on. And if you can emulate and relate to those people and say, we've got a solution for you, I mean, that's absolutely huge. So anyway, thanks, Rhonda.
Thank you for that. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, this is amazing. I love hearing this. When I love when we can bring it back, because of course I'm only one view, right? And when I look at it in terms of branding, right, because that is really what I'm great at, is I always look back when I listen. I always close my eyes. When you're speaking, I'm closing my eyes. Even when you're speaking, Jeff, I'm closing my eyes because I'm seeing who is that woman that Pauline is going to be speaking directly to. And Jeff said it very well, is that your miscarriages are something that connects with them, but you've become so much bigger than that. And it's really interesting to see how we look at ourselves. And Jeremy wrote something in here. He's like, it's because we can't see ourselves. So Pauline, we are seeing you without even knowing you. Isn't that amazing?
It is.
So what I want for you is I want you to look at this. Let's go back. There are some things, Pauline. You are a woman that has had miscarriages that have gone through them. That is who you are. That's your experience. But now who have you become? That is who your customers want to work with. That's why they're going to choose you as their doula. That's why they're going to choose you, because you're not just a doula that knows how to help someone breathe and get through a birth. You are a woman that has soul, that has experience, that has been there, that can relate to them. See, when we start telling a story that's relatable, it's very different than listing bullet points that says, this is what I can do for you, isn't it?
Yeah.
And this is what makes you more marketable and more branded, and why they're going to choose you. So what we need to do is, you're there. I want you to develop this. Okay. I want you to post up your video, and you'll get better at video. I make you guys do videos right away because you're just going to get better at it. And we're going to we'll do video series. We'll do all that stuff in a couple weeks. Right now, it's just really getting used to it. If you're better at writing, you're going to do both. Okay. You'll do both. But if you're better at writing, that's fine. Get it in writing. And then we're going to look at it in a way that's marketable and sellable, not just, I'm going to write a story. And I want you to look at yourself and say, okay, what is it about me that makes them want to work with me? Now, there's definitely a lot of different things, breaking through barriers, inner strength, all these things. I want you to start thinking in terms of, what could I be known for? Because that's where your brand is going to start popping out. You right now are going to start getting your content, everything that you can offer to them in videos and sharing and posts and all that. You're going to get, that's already there. Now it's you seeing Paula, or Pauline. Sorry, I was looking at Paula's name. You seeing Pauline for, this is who I am to you, to your customer. This is who I am to you. Can you get in that space?
Okay, cool. Yeah,
Okay.
that helps.
All right, good. So let's go there. Write it out and then start going, what if you could call yourself something even, right? If you want to even just
Okay.
call yourself or think of the way it should look. It doesn't have to be words, it can be the way it looks. Because when you see the way something looks and feels, then it just starts connecting. Maybe it's color, right? It can be all that can come together with how your brand is going to look because all the content is underneath it. The storyline's under you. You're just no longer having to rely on the fact that you had miscarriages. That's just something you've done. Now who you are is what they want to buy. That make sense?
That makes perfect sense. Thank you for that. Yeah,
Awesome. Okay. Yay. Good,
thank
good, good,
you.
good. Yay, good. Awesome. You got it, girl. Way to go. That was so fabulous and very revealing, yet so important, right? That's why we're taking our brands to the next level. We're doing something way different than just surface conversation. All right. So anyone else want to jump on out here? Come on out next. All right. Paula and Pauline back to back. Hey, lady.
Hi, can you hear me?
I can.
Oh, excellent. Hi, everybody. I missed last week because of the 3 a.m. thing, but I worked really hard on the story, which was just actually it was really amazing. A lot came out of that, and I had a lot of heaviness that went on for at least 48 hours
Wow.
because it was a very painful background. So yeah, it was amazing. Hey, the amazing thing is I haven't had a drink of alcohol since. So there's been this total movement that's come across from this very
Wow.
painful past. I know, it is just weird. So, and Charmaine helped me too with the meditation and the whole bit, but I just stayed inside of that and just went there. So basically the long of it was just, or I'm going to make it very short, you know, it's a very painful background where I lived a life in the end where I didn't care whether I lived or died. And I tried really hard to die, you know, with really extreme sports, drugs, alcohol, you name it. But getting through all of that, I was always quite smart and ended up a massage therapist in in health and wellness at a very early age. So I sort of just went up and down through life, living that sort of extreme, very healthy to very unhealthy. So I've been working on video this last week, just the little 3-minute thing, and just doing Facebook. And I've been getting some really good feedback just from friends, and it's been along the motivation side of life. So I guess basically I've always been called Absolute Massage and Wellness, and I changed that to Absolute Life and Wellness. But now I'm realizing that I just want people to have this absolutely fabulous life, regardless of how painful their past was, how they can live on purpose and become a greater creator of what they deserve to be. Yeah, so I guess my traits is that I'm really honest and that I really care and I like to live on purpose. So I guess what I'm finding hard is cutting it down into a shorter version. Like there's a lot of vulnerable there, but you know, without having to go right into all, you know, sexual assaults and alcohol abuse and drug abuse and like I don't mind talking about it, to be honest. I just don't want to turn it into a whole blah blah long-winded crazy story, because the upside is I have worked for myself for 11 years. My children have never done daycare, but I've gotten to where I am through working really, really hard, to the point of crazy hard, and 3 jobs. And I guess it was that extremeness, if you know what I mean, of like, let's just become a workaholic instead of an alcoholic, or, you know, so along those lines.
Yeah, okay, so this is, yeah, of course, absolutely. I know exactly where you're at. What I want to do for you is because I know, Paula, that you know this story well, right? And what I would like to do is have you put on a different jacket. Okay? So we've gone through all the stuff and we know who we are. We've identified it because I know that you've done the work and the mindset work. But what I want you to do is I want Paula to now take off the jacket, right? So you're totally naked, so to speak. And now, with all that experience, who can Paula be for that person? Maybe it's 1, 2, 3, or 4 people that want to choose you. So is it Absolute Life and Wellness? That seems very generic.
Yeah.
Right.
Um, mm,
Because you are way bigger than that. Because I know you're an extremist. You've done this. That's all content. Who is really
yeah.
Paula that has something so bigger than every other extremist? I'm one. I've done the same. I was, total
Yeah.
extreme. I went from one end, so I didn't go to the other. What is it about your uniqueness and your values that make people see you different than just absolute life and wellness?
Mm. The feedback that I've got just from the short videos I've been doing is, um, oh look, please keep posting. We're getting a lot out of this.
Mm-hmm.
You're just so honest and you're just so raw. Um, and you taught me a lot when I was in Orlando, just with, of course, keeping it really upbeat
Mm-hmm.
and moving around. So, I'll always introduce, hi, it's Paula Langford. I have been saying the absolute life and wellness, how's it all going? And I didn't know what else to talk about but manifestation, because I am actually really extremely good at it, but only through working my ass out. And I'm actually 49, and that was a real defining moment like a month ago, because then I went, holy shit, I'm 50 next year, and I didn't even see retirement in my future. And I do lots of little jobs and contract myself around, so I sell myself anyway. So I don't work for anyone. I work for myself and sell myself as a contractor. Like, this has probably gone off track, sorry. But I realised that my target market was in the recruitment office was women my age coming in really depressed because they couldn't get a job anymore. Nobody wanted them at 50 years old. And I sort of looked at them and went, holy shit, I'm only a year off that. And you're standing there looking at me like you're unhireable, even though you've got this life of experience and fantastic resumes. And so I don't know who I am. I know who I am, but I don't know how to market it.
Well, this is really really
Mm.
good, because you're starting to see so many different things, and what I love is that you are doing the videos, which is great. So you're ahead, you're a step up. Let me ask you, the videos that you're doing,
Hmm.
are they connecting to you differently because that's the first time you've shared that, or is it because you're sharing it differently?
Um, you mean, what am I sharing on the video?
Yeah, where you said people are going, wow, I'm so connected to you, and you really,
Well,
is
right,
it
well, because
different?
well, as you know, I was really resisted with this whole video thing. I
Mm-hmm.
completely freaked out. But it was Jim that had said, that was that moment in the house, the Unstoppable house, where he said, the very thing that you're stuck on will be the thing that takes you 3 steps forward. And
Mm.
I thought, well, the video is the one that's making me really uncomfortable the most. So that night the video was going around. So I really tried hard with video the whole way along. And Julie, your cousin, was great. We did a few private moments where I spoke into it like she was interviewing me. So we
Mm-hmm.
did a few practice things, and then I just used your idea of introducing yourself. And I'm going to be doing a 5-day
Mm-hmm.
thing on a subject, and I didn't know what else to talk about. So, and that made me commit. So because I'd
Mm-hmm.
introduced myself and they were all awaiting the Monday where Paula was going to start doing these small video blogs, I just started talking about manifesting because I didn't know what else to do. And so it went from goal setting, and I talked about meditation and affirmations, um, and just everything we already know. But yeah, so little 3-minute things on talking about manifestation, and it turned into motivational stuff, and doing what it takes and talking with passion. And so I ended up getting private messages, and it turned into everything from people wanting to lose weight, because I presented it across the board, just to become a better them and to be absolutely fabulous in whatever they wanted to do, whether it was making money or losing weight, or being healthier, and how so many people at this age are becoming so sick and dying of cancer, for instance. So one of my biggest passions is health.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah. So yeah, the video was pretty just motivational, I guess.
Well, and then this is amazing because everyone here, you're a little bit advanced because some of them weren't with us one on one. Everyone here will learn about video series, and isn't it interesting, Paula? Because you started doing something so different that no one's ever seen. you're now creating a following that you never had because you're starting to share something that most people would never do. And when we start to brand
Yeah.
ourselves this way,
Yeah.
people start to, they're like hanging on the edge of their seat to see what you have to say because they're not willing to do it either. Or they're not
Yeah.
willing to do it, not either. Right? So you're doing something for
Yeah.
them. So it's becoming bigger than you, right, to share. So
Yeah.
what you're doing is starting to, when you start doing video series and you're really not quite sure who you are yet, you are going to come out of this, right? You're what you do, what you are is going to really come out of this. Now, I typed a couple things in that just popped into my head as I was listening to you with my eyes closed. Like
Yep.
the manic manifester, right? Because if you want to use some of these things, right, which I don't, it's, you want to use some of your past that makes you who you are.
Yep.
Right? Or the marvelous manifester. I if you love absolute life and wellness, stay there. I think you could do better.
Okay. Yep. I think I stuck with it because I already had that fan base going on.
That's okay. That
With
fan base can change and understand where you've developed. Because this is very generic. We want Paula.
Yep.
Right?
Look, I really resonate with the manic, but I'm uncomfortable with it as well because it almost feels true, but it's the one thing I'm trying to drop with that whole, like I don't want to be extreme anymore. It's really funny, like I don't need any more excitement or drama because that's what it's always been about, even though it's got me to where I am. And people are still shocked at where I am. I'm sitting up on the 10th level of the inner city and they go, what? How the hell are you doing this? You've got an investment property, you're sitting up in a $650 a week apartment. And I go, I don't know, it just sort of all pulls together. Amazing, isn't it?
Well, okay. So, Paula, the definition of manic to you is still negative. It doesn't have to be horrible.
Yeah, it is in a way.
Right? It doesn't. Manic is just what we give it. I mean, it's not that word. I just want you to see that you can make this whatever you want it to be, and because of the things that you do is why people are going to follow you. And the difference, the way you do things is why they're looking and watching. Now, if you want to change yourself spiritually, that's one thing. We're talking about how you are going to be marketable and a branded person that makes people go, dang it, I want what she's got.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
So what I want you to do is now we'll be able to see this. I want to see this video that you've created. You didn't do the story video, so I want you to get your story video done. And then I want you to write it out because you guys are going to write these out this week because what's going to happen is especially on Facebook specifically, is that you guys are going to write it and you're going to post. It's going to go on your blog. It's going to go on your Facebook page, and you're going to freak people out. And you guys write this out because video is one thing, and they love it and they connect. Mm-hmm. People actually have the time to sit and read something that you share. That's really when we get deeply into that specific piece of branding. Right? Not everyone's ready to do all this. Some people just want to be cold marketers, right? If you want to really be shining and really step out and share something with people, we want to get this in print, and we're going to pick an amazing photo that literally just beams at people, and they're going to read something and go, oh my gosh, because what's going to happen, it's going to be different than just this is where I'm at. It's going to be solution based. Your stories are going to come with a solution. This is where I'm at, and this is how I'm doing it. Mm-hmm. Right?
See, I thought I'd done the story, and then realised that was just the big, long-winded, old, painful story. And I thought, I can't use that. That's ridiculous. It goes on forever. So I'll go back to that and get it all narrowed down. And
and I'm going to show you guys some examples of some people that I've worked with, and even, you can look at our stories, but I want you to see some different people because our story, and see how they took those big, long stories, did the circles, took the high points and put it into, this is who I am, this is what happened to me, this is where I'm going, this is the solution I found that's still connected and very marketable when it comes to marketing yourself. Then you do your video that's really that connection piece that you put, on your blog, you put on in Facebook, you market it in YouTube, you share yourself, and then you start taking each of those pieces in your story and make it into your content.
Mm. See, I was a bit overwhelmed with the whole 3 to 5 minute video, like just standing there saying it, I guess, because it's easy to be upbeat and put the face on and be
Right.
motivational and come from that way. I really liked what the Munson boy did over in Orlando, and would you recommend, doing it as a slideshow even with pictures, or you did literally show your face?
Well, I mean, absolutely, I mean, that's where you will get to. If you can do
Right.
it, great. Share your story in however it physically can be available to you, right? Some people don't know how to put it all together. And that's why, we've got, people that can take the stuff that you say and turn it into pictures and turn it into a better video. Right now, we're just really looking
Yeah.
to connect with people. However you
Yeah.
want it to be out, Paula, you get it out.
Okay.
Because it really comes
Well,
down
it's
to you
probably going to be,
understanding the content.
yeah, it'll probably be quicker and easier just to shoot it by video.
Yeah.
But what I've been doing the last week, I don't watch them, you see. I just shoot and
Right.
upload, because if I was to watch them, I wouldn't actually put them back up. Something like that, I'd have to. I look at them after I've had some comments and likes, actually.
Well, of course. I mean, we all do, and that's normal. If
Yeah.
you want to take
Right.
yourself to the next level and connect with people in a different way and do it in a way that is marketable, you have to
Yeah.
look at your story and go, that's what I would want to hear from myself if I was a customer, an audience, or a person, right? You have to be able to
Yeah.
do that. And that's why
Yeah.
I want you guys to share them with me so I can help do that for you, right? Just like I
Yeah.
saw from Bernie and Tiffany, I was able to go, okay, I'm getting where they're at. I'm seeing it. So that way, when
Yeah.
you guys do this this is why I'm here for you, right? So I can look at this for you and see you from the outside.
And we've only got to shoot this up to the site, right? So it's just for us guys to look at and help each other. It's not putting it out there to the world just yet, I guess.
Yeah, not just yet. If you're not ready to put it there just yet, don't do that. Although I recommend that you do it and just let the fear go.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Because people wouldn't know what I'm selling at the moment. I've sort of just been, I guess, building
Yes.
a audience and a bit of a fan base. Like, I haven't really talked about anything because I haven't done the sell
That's okay.
at all with it. Yeah.
That's okay, especially in the next. It's stuff that we didn't even cover in Orlando. I'm going to cover when it comes to how to exactly put the video series into action, right? Purposeful action, so that what you're shooting, you're leading people into making a move and making a call to action, doing something. We're going to go through that in week 3, exactly how
Yeah.
to craft it and how to really structure the video properly. Right now, I just want you guys to feel it. You want to feel who you are, what you've got, and then we're going to start tightening it up. And then you're going to have all of a sudden you have this identity that you didn't even know you had. And then you start having this tagline, your core message starts coming out. And then everything you do is on purpose. Right now, we're like, we're just kind of getting it out there. And that's okay,
Yeah.
because for the first time, you're getting something out there that people are like, oh my gosh, I've never heard them say this before. So when they do that, you don't want to sell them anything. You want them just to follow you, connect with you, and keep
Yeah.
going down this path of like, what the heck is going on? Paula is like,
Right.
she's clear. She knows who she is, and she's talking about something that's the truth. And then all of a sudden you start going, hey guys, you know what? This is really cool. And this is where I'm at right now. I've been doing this, and now I've created this solution, right? You don't say the word solution usually, but you start
Right.
saying, people wonder, how am I living out like I'm living, and my children have never seen daycare, and they just traveled with me to the United States, and we can do these things. And this is why, because I'm learning from people, and I'm learning, and I'm blogging, and go ahead and take a look. It's like that soft, here you
Okay.
go see. They're like, wow, I want to go see. And they just go and see. And then we start
Yeah.
learning how to this is Paula, this is who I am, this is what I've got, now go see, right? And you start getting a little stronger, and then your hard call to action is more bold. But when we get who we are, then our email communication is different, our videos are different, how we connect with our audience is totally different than they've ever seen from us. Is that making sense?
Yes, it is. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Everyone have a great day, by the way.
Yeah, well, thank you. It's 9:30 p.m. for me, so I'm going to go to bed soon.
7:30 a.m. here working.
Oh my gosh. It's hilarious. I love it. To me, this is like my favorite moments where I'm like, I just love what I do. Like people all over the world here.
Yeah.
All right, so this is great stuff. Okay, so I
Thank
promised
you.
everyone that I would share with you how to really structure your stories properly before I do go, because we're at the bottom of the hour. So what we're going to all do, guys, is everyone this week is going to go back and define the story and get it written properly, right? Get it really, really written in a way that's connected. And everyone is going to go through week 2 and the notes from week 2. And I want you to really start thinking specifically, what is it? What is it about me that people want to connect with? Okay. And what you're going to do is you're going to start thinking of an image, a vision, a name, something that just you could use. It's who you are as this brand, right? It could be your name, and it could be the vision could be something different than your name. It could be the way it looks, the way it feels, something about you. You want them to go, ooh, yeah, I like that about them. That's something different. And we're gonna start building upon that. Let's see, here we go. I'm gonna bring a couple posts out that I don't want to use my own, because there's a couple that I've just recently worked with that were just powerful okay. And you guys might know who she is, Sean DeCapo. I've worked with her recently. She's actually an amazing girl. She's in Orlando. She went from completely generic, I don't even know what she was, to the Freedom Fashionista. She is a fashion student, or not student, she works in the fashion industry, but she also now is looking to be free. And her brand is Freedom Fashionista, but she wrote her story. She wrote her story very garbly, really not connected, and we edited it and really put it into a place that makes you follow. This is who I am. This is what's happened for me. This is where I'm going, and this is my solution. And what I want you to see is there's ways to edit our stories. And in fact, this might be the one she did. I edited one for her. Yeah, this is not the right one. There's a way that we want to use space, right? We use white space. We always have a headline. And then we go, I call it the 3-to-1 ratio, which is 3 little mini paragraphs, 3 to 4 lines, right? And then we use one individual line that breaks up our story. And if I can bring it up here tonight, I want to make sure if I can find it. This is the one she did, and then I edited it. Okay, here's another one. All right, you guys, I want you to go, though, to the branding workshop fan page here and look at these. Jen, and this is another thing, Jen, we switched Jen's image several times. Your image has to show your eyes, your radiance, who you are. And especially on Facebook, if we're really looking to brand ourselves on Facebook, people will really see you and identify with you so much stronger than they would if it was more of a background image. And so I want you to go through, these are some of the best stories that I've worked with. And this girl went from having no one connecting with her to having some powerful results, not only in her business, but in the way people looked at her because of how she wrote her story. And so here you'll see, she's like my textbook. 1, 2, 3, an individual line. And then as she uses a bold to bring people into the next segment. Same thing, 1, 2, 3. Well, she did 2, right? And you lead people forward. So when you're using your story, you give a little background, but you let them know, I'm going to show you in a bit what I'm going to talk about. She uses here. And then she goes through her story, shares a little bit more about you, and she just keeps building on it. So I want you to see this as an example, because all you do is if this is who I am, this is what I've gone through, and this is where I'm going, and this is my solution. You always use that foundation. And when you look and read these stories, you guys are getting connected enough to really, what is your umbrella? What is that content? What is that cake, right? That we talked about earlier. What is my cake that I'm putting together? And then start putting the icing on the next 3 weeks. So I want all of you guys to really sit on right now the story, shooting the video, writing it out. And if you go back to the branding site, you can look at how to structure it in a way that is visibly acceptable, because most people only read about 20% of what they look at. They really only read that. So we have to make it in a way that makes them look at it visibly. So that's why we break it up into paragraphs. But the most important piece for you guys right now is really just getting connected to you, your uniqueness. What is it about you that they want to follow? Get that story shot and written. And then we're going to start building on the next 3 weeks on creating now structures and really connecting more with our audience through our visible appearance, what our tagline is, who we are. So you guys can really start just narrowing it down so you can be ultimately attractive to the customers that you're connecting with. So, all right, guys. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to close up the workshop tonight. I'm going to have you guys, and if you can get the stuff to me sooner, I'm going to go through some of you guys that did post some things just recently, and I'll send you some feedback on the page, right? Personal messages. Let's keep the personal messages to a minimum, because I've got thousands of people that I work with, and there's 20 total students that are working this month. So when you bring it publicly, it helps me focus and help others relate and others comment to you. Too many personal messages make it more difficult. I always want to give you guys time. If you can bring it to the main page, it's better, because I'll be able to get to it sooner and I'll be able to interact. And the others, those of you that are also posting your stories, look at others, because it helps you guys really get a good idea. And I'm really pumped. This is great, you guys. You guys are amazing. This has been a really good first start. And we're just going to keep building it, making it better. So, all right, you guys, I want you guys to have an incredible week. And yeah, David, I want you to redo it. It's old. That story's old. I want you to redo it. I want you to really get clear, because the more clear we are, the better. But yes, I want you to go back through that story and re-get it in a way that's really connecting to our audience. And we're going to start taking it from there. All right, you guys are amazing. Have a great night, everyone, or a great day for many of you. For me, it's 9:40. I'm going to go to bed soon. But I get too pumped for these workshops, so I can never go to bed right away. All right, guys, have a good night and be unstoppable. See you next week.